Good morning. This is Sybil Jansen again on the Upward Curve. And today I am going to provide 2 tips for senior women who complain that they are not being heard. The first tip that I have to offer is there is a lot, you'll have a lot going for yourself if you keep your mouth shut and remain silent for a while and simply listen to the conversation going on around you. When you are listening and not responding to comments in your mind, you will get a feeling for the energy of the other people who are speaking, and you will get you'll be more open to the conversation when you simply stay silent, and that includes the silence of the mind. Do not spend a lot of time wanting to respond with the thoughts that are going on your head. Just refrain from that instant desire to join into the conversation. Remain silent, watch and listen. And when they notice your silence, then is your opportunity to join into the conversation. And since you've picked up on it's not a word I care for, the vibrations of the energy around you, or you get a handle on the real subtext of the conversation, what you have to say will be unique, and your chances of being listened to will be increased by at least 50%. I remember one time when I was participating in a very important workshop a number of years ago. There were about 15 of us in the room, and all of the people were going around in the circle talking about themselves, what they wanted to accomplish, who they were, and providing some answers to the question that had been thrown into the hat by the leader of the workshop. I remained silent and said nothing at all. And the fact that I did say nothing at all finally got the attention of the other 14 people in the room. And when I did have their attention, which was resulted from my continued silence, which actually did become a presence, then when I opened my mouth to make a response, I actually had something unique to add to the conversation. From that point on, I established a certain level of credibility during the rest of the workshop because of my tendency to remain silent and then add something pithy, which contributed more to the group exercise than the first responses that people came up with. The second tip that I have is for you to listen to the automatic responses that come out of your mouth when people speak to you. You know the traditional response to a question when people ask you how you are, and you respond with, "I'm fine." And that is a nice a recognition of the person, and you pass on. But try this instead. When somebody asks you how you are, come up with something different. Teach your mind to some new patterning. Say, "Oh, I'm reading the best book," or "I saw this interesting television program last night, but I didn't like it at all." That is going to get their attention because you have broken the established ritual of "hello, I'm fine." And the fact that you say something other than "I'm fine" is bound to jolt their attention for a moment. So an exercise that would be useful for you to make is to write down 5 or 6 responses to the question, "How are you?" and then practice using them. And if you're interested in initiating a conversation, one of those unexpected responses usually is going to open the door to a conversation that is much more interesting and more fertile than you usually get from your friends. The other addition to my second commentary is unless you are speaking to an intimate friend and you are very ill and your friend knows that you are ill and is genuinely asking, how are you doing? Or how is your treatment going? Never take your energy into something negative and don't put something negative into the space of a casual acquaintance. Negativity does not serve them, and it certainly does not serve you. And that is my conversation, my tips for the day. In my next live podcast, I will be talking about ways and means of strengthening your voice so that as our voices do tend to weaken unless we strengthen our vocal cords by continuous practice. And there are ways and means of doing that. In fact, I will be discussing how using vocal toning practices can actually increase the amount of energy that you have. So until the next time, this is me signing off.